All right, folks, let's pretend like this is America, okay, for the past 100+ years, since maybe 1910, 1911, when that motion picture given life to create the male and female after he, them, after his or their image, those types of things. And that's your Hollywood. But either way, let's pretend like we're here, and then now the AI and all those things is being turned on as Musk, the trillionaire, getting close, or whatever, that tribulation, that capitalism, that eyeball turning on and coming eye to eye where you're at, and the king coming in and putting this house in, this house in, this house in, all those kinds of things in order. All right, so this is where everything, the Antarctic treaties come out, the 12 countries that surround the world. This is all where they're coming into this focal point, God of the us and our, the United States and our, the seventh church, the Laodicea, the Amen, the Amen Ra, going into the garden, coming out of the garden, all those things. As one goes dark, one turns light. As one goes dark, you realize where you are. You go into the land of Nod, even more right. Or you can go, and then we've gotten into these things before, but this is also the cross, and that's the negative pattern. This is the H, the 8 for the infinity sign, and all those little different things. But either way, so this would be the upside down world, sucking the oil out. Now the sucking the oil out is kind of now turned on to the electricity. This is part of the Lucifer regaining his light, and this is the Elon, the devil, the EV, all those things coming on. So this is where he may offer something good, as you're told he eats babies or whatever kind of thing they get over, right? So this is where a mix of reality comes, where there's like a real thing. You follow the man with the pitcher of water, but you don't believe the show. So this is where like one man's offering this thing, but he's going to be the worst on the other level kind of thing. So that would be one king, and then you have separate kings, and this is where Trump is coming in as the emperor on one level, and then these kings work out on a level, and then that's where Trump is also working with an emperor on another level. And this is where like the woman clothed in the sun, where he's going to meet with Japan on a level, and then Xi Ping. So that's where a woman divided on itself, and that's where the T1 comes in with the 11, the 47, and then the 2, the positive, the negative, the cold, the hot, go under like Elon's control. As you have the capitalistic system, and the positive and negatives are all coming into a spectrum, okay? And then we might see like a president of the United States, or president of the internet, or whatever developed kind of thing. That could be a flip on some stuff. So, or the AI is coming in. This is where you can also see the AI, just on another spectrum, the AI, all these politicians or whatever, that are born in other nations, or supposedly, like just on a grand scheme, like it's a no-brainer, like they shouldn't even be in office. And that's going to tie into Ted Cruz and some shit on him and whatever else. But this is basically a closet in different houses, but you're under this main house, all right, and it has many rooms that connect all these other things. But this is where the Ted Cruz and all those people, when they put back in the closet, that's when their light turned dark. All right, this is where Selena Gomez is being shown in an X-rated video. I'm waiting for Taylor Swift's big day, but her party or wedding or whatever, she's probably gonna be doing the tootskis or whatever. I'd be waiting for Trump to do a little tootski for the one hitter on the dugout and those types of things for your major leagues. That would be your MLBs and the pounds for the 116 and the 611, 911, all those types of things. So either way, and then your Oz, the ounce is the 128 piece still that he did on the 2020 and whatever else. But so going the kings and whatever else that are placed, and X-Men, the X-Men ties into your Bidens, and that's where you have your Bidens, your BBs, the 4x4s, the 2x4s, the 2x6, all these little things that you use for housing. And all this is tied to different things in the walls and the ceiling and the rafters. The rafters is tied to the ceiling and the peaks. That's this part with the flood and all this other shit, folks. So, and that's your fucking circus tent too, speaking of it. So as you've been in upside down world, you've had the MK Ultra and the ultra processing and all that saying the M Cultra. That's the 1-3, that 13 colonies, that colonoscopies and whatever else does. That alien invasion is coming to that Uranus, and that Uranus is in the sky, and it's getting bright already, okay? So let's open up stuff and look around. So we've all been in the schools. They got the gifted and talented, but they've been doing this kind of tests and that kind of tests on us since we were birthed. Can you hear this sound? Can you hear that sound? And seeing what levels of orientation, Asiantation, Dragonation, whatever we are attached to. So, as we were shown, Lord will heal you with the Benny Hins and the demons. Oh, we'll pray for you on the, oh man, what was it? I've told this story. Bob Larson or whatever his name is, the demon chick calling in the 80s. Mom made us pull up. We listened to this shit for hours. My mom pulled us up. We're going to pray for this woman. She pulled over and made us all pray right there on the spot and shit. Like, anyways, we prayed for a couple times that day. Just to show you, I know what the demons are. Because we're coming into a time frame when the dark lights are talking. Oh, he's a demon. He's a demon. No, you're the fucking demon. Okay, so if you're self-projecting, and demon means intelligence anyways, so it's not even a bad thing when people call you these things, all right? So the past however many decades, we've all been in school. They've been testing us here and there since we've been at birth, given the hearing test, the blot test, the gifted and talented test, all these types of things. We're shown psychics on the TV. We're shown Benny Hinn, you can heal. We're shown demons on the radio, call-in shows, whatever else. I've told about the story in the past where we had to pull over and pray for this man we had to listen to this show for hours or whatever. My mom made us pull over, pray for this dude. It was on the Bob Larson show, I'm pretty sure. But either way, so I know about your demons that you say or whatever, but demons is actually word for intelligence. And then that's why the church doesn't like demons, because they don't like intelligence. They work on circular logic. And the church you go to is not the real church, because the church is a spiritual aspect. It's not that kind of thing. And that church of all men, where you just got to repent and live in that circle I just drew. Live in that circle. That's where that all men is coming. Okay, so then he's going to just load you up in those stalls for that crapture. Go to those battleships. Come out! Come out! That's when you're going to wish you had some of them prunes. You're going to be eating the whole fucking bag. Oh, man. As the figs come. That's the figs and the flags, and you've replaced the word, okay? So, 6 Flags over Texas. The TXS. Be shining up soon enough. The gifted and talented program, searching for this type of person, that type of person, these hearing programs, hearing what kind of frequencies you can hear. Some of us have been hearing frequencies our whole life and whatever, and then they try and give you, well, do you hear tetanus or whatever they fucking call it, and then they give you a pill to where you can't be tuned in. So this is part of that little circle. Lighten up. So this is where he's going to control you, and that's where this petro system, this 80-20 rule or whatever kind of thing is going to go into these kinds of things and whatever. So the bridge that everybody lives on, that's being taken out, and that time machine, all those things is all coming together as you're going into that valley, and the valley is part of that bridegroom situation. So the drugs and alcohol and the devil's lettuce and the tree of life and the tree of knowledge and the healing of nations, and all these things are coming in different ways, and setting up as a new heaven and earth is there, and the scheduling from 1 to the 3, the medical, the medicine, that sin, and all those things are coming together as the Christos is joined. And the Christos ties into the oil, and then the oil is the Antichrist on different levels. So this is where the Antichrist is going to be here, but not here. Here, not here. Okay, so this is where the kings and the X-Men, so-called, the kings on the board, and the dawn of time, the dawn of the automobile age, the dawn of America, all these things are coming into the one light of the dawn. And then he's in the Donald John Trump, the last Trump is setting up. So this is where, like, he's gonna be 88 and those types of things. But so this is where he's setting up the Israel nation, and these things that are going into this Israel nation, that's part of these things on a different level. Okay, so the different level, and then this is where you're going more into the right, into the land of Nod. But there's also all this area opened up in earth or whatever. But this is where, okay, so as X marks the spot in the Holocaust, and the vaccines and all those things are on a level. And the past however many decades, okay, I'm born in Generation X, and I'm in the cosmetology field by chance, and I have owned different things in the industry, such as a foot detox machine. One of those things you put your feet in and it pulls out all the metals, okay? So I bought this because when I did it, I felt shit in my legs, like working its way down or whatever, right? And the water and all these things. So, well, shit, that tells me that it's doing something or whatever kind of thing. And it appears to be working, and I can feel it or whatever else is going on. So, this can be part of that heavy metal detox happening on a level that's given to the people, that you either choose or choose not to do. And if you are part of that elect in a way, and you are in that chosen, you reflect that light inside of that church of Amen in a way, okay? That's where you're gaining this information and things are being turned on or whatever, okay? I also always drank out of a 10-stage water filter or better, or whatever kind of thing, whatever you consider, okay? But it's always been filtered water since a certain time. I quit drinking Cokes at a certain time, or soda pop. I quit doing certain types of frequencies at a certain, like scary movies or horror movies or whatever. So there's just different levels of coming out of different things, okay? And then also the X, Generation X, and the X when the millennium opened up, and then going and purging and taking out all this stuff, okay? That can be on another level, and your brain heats up, and some people overheat, and that can be all tied to this metals and heavy metals or whatever that's collected, okay, in different ways. That's on another level. Today on the Ozempic, we see kind of these people, okay? And the fat is where you are, in one level, you're loading up toxicities, all right? Your body, you're eating something, your body don't know what to do with it. It loads it up for here, and then it wants more food, and then you go back to the same thing, and boom, 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 boom. Okay, so that's where we're at, just on a food, drink, emotional, physical, whatever fucking level, okay? Because this Church of Amen has taken, which way am I going? The Church of Amen has been taken by the physicality, the Amen, and they've been teaching you a false spirituality. But it may not be false, it just may be mixed up. That's where they're showing you, or you just don't understand what you're doing or whatever. This is where they're showing, well, you gotta burn this, that, and the other in your house to remove the bad energies or whatever. Okay? Once you understand the quantum level on and how plants grow, and you understand what is actually taking place in the light spectrum, and once you know, knowing is half the battle. Once you know these energies and stuff is actually going on, and they're because a lot of these people, oh man, it's just where they've been given a lie on one spectrum and it doesn't match up on this spectrum, and a lot of it's done through the religious, that's a main platform, as it holds the Word of God, written by man, given to you by the King. Oh, well, this has been translated to perfection. Well, yeah, now we got that transformation. as the figs and plums are gathered. And that's about your nuts and that T-Pusas that's gathering for the ice and data collections. Because you're all part of that minor bee and that hive built under the ground for that Satan cast down going into the cave system. Okay? So as you're being told the alien deception as far as the cover-up, because some of us have real stories where we've seen this, that, and the other, starting at very early ages, or whatever kind of thing. Okay, so that the alien stuff or whatever is real. Okay, that's the Israel, gathering up the Israel through the Isreal, which is the projection in this light, and that's where the people are given over to the little green men. And that ties into your Obama on another level, but the Obama opened up the pit, ties into the Biden and all those things. As your Biden, the X-Den and all that shit are tying into a man of sin and the moon and the dark side and all that other stuff to reflect the light of the dark sun, which is Obama. And then you have the dawn's light, which is the light you live in and those things. And then you're going to see the bright sun. You can't see, that's the Elon or whatever, that's Chinese. Mao, those kind of things all happening up. Okay, so I know you're on those high slopes, but you're gonna have to ski down. And that skiing down ties into your White House and the District of Columbia and what we have here in America and the cartels and mafias or whatever that we're told in the history, motion picture given life. This side runs this side, this side runs this side, this side runs this side. They've all come together to do this. Now the American side or whatever's built up, and now that would be where your dawn of time is coming and collecting, and this where the different tribes and all those things are all coming in. So either way, so this is where all this dark light and whatever we've been in, that getting it is turning on, and then it's going to go into different houses and different spectrums on the world stage. Okay, and then that's where the people follow and whatever else. But and this happens within the people. And this is where it's been happening since a certain age, certain time frame, or whatever, depending on your level and whatever you're told and whatever seeds you gathered as a child, whatever you're hung over the fire with, or whatever kind of thing. Okay, so that is where we're all the same, but we're not the same. All right, and with what we are given, we don't all use it the same way. And we all don't think the same way. We all don't go within and reflect the same light and whatever else. So this is where someone is given this, that, and the other. But the 80-20 rule, this Church of Amen is controlling it this way. And that's where this way is going into the controlled land of Nod. Okay? So, and that's where there's different levels of the money. Because this is where you get the tax system taken away, but you're going to have to go into this kind of thing. And then the tax system, whatever, but you get to have some freedom. Or this is kind of like where we can see the different levels of like the states and the lockdowns and the kings placed upon the earth, DeSantis, Abbott, Gavin. This is where we're shown this one, the other, and whatever. And the West Coast, I told y'all, went through the tribulation and the great tribulation, opening up and it burning and all those things resetting, whatever. And then it also being the fourth size economy on that side with California, and then the 10th size, the Little Horn, the Texas, the incarnation, the cartels and all that stuff that ties into the 4 with California and Texas. And this thing where I told you where the us, the divide against America and those things that would be playing for a flip-flop on the California stuff, what Gavin would be doing if he withholds the taxes and what else is going to be going. So this is going to be where the kings have this, but they do this and that kind of thing. He keeps the taxes, they get rid of taxes. All right. That's where the kings are coming in and turning on, and then the capitalism is where actually socialism will come from, because these kings will give back to the earth in one way, shape, or form, and that would be with the colonies setting up, where the 2 are under that 1, the red and blue is under that control of the 1, and then you get the the darkness in that one, because this is all where like the heavens and the earth and going into the darkness upon the deep is going in. When the darkness upon the deep, that's when the lights are coming in with you and dividing, and the SS is held with the Pharaoh, and the Moses holds the serpent too. So this is where all the Red Sea and the Pharaoh's coming out. All these things are going together. Okay, so as the alien cover up, and some of us have real stories of alien shit or whatever, seen stuff or whatever. So that's what's real, and they're telling you that they've been lying to you. So that's the great deception. We've been in the M culture, the MK Ultra, all those things. This is where the drone society, where people are being slowly turned off as they're being turned on into a living robot. And this is where like 1,000 years of Satan can come, where these people are turned on into a living robot work machine or whatever. And those types of things, as he comes in and gathers his army to rebuild the heaven and the earth. Okay, and we are the ultimate robot master class liquid machine. Okay, so that's where y'all are, the drone clone whatever society. All right, and that's where hell is coming on earth, and the king is coming to take control in a way. And this is where also where y'all have all taken the mark of the beast, and they're going to tell you this, that, and the other over the next whatever years as they do these things. And as the lockdown comes in, you go into the closet, the little parable we got into, and the light turns on within you. And then that's where, well, I'll burn forever. I'll burn. I can't do what, I can't die. I'm going to burn and go to hell. So this is where you have to stay alive. You know what I mean? So this is the birth where you're being hung over the fire. And that's where it's turning into some literal shit. Okay? But it's not turning literal how y'all teach. Okay? Because hell is on earth. Heaven is on earth. And heaven is within you. And since Jesus has to go down and conquer hell, that's when he has to conquer all the demons and all these things. And all that stuff is within you. As the truth has been taken from you. And you have not sought the truth, as you've been given over to the image given life. And they do that with a okay? So we'll get into another video with brainwashing and laughing. And y'all, I'm starting this with the Three Stooges, all right? But the drugs, the DARE program, the Tree of Life, these things have been given in one spectrum, and dark light, and they bring light in another. And with spiritual things and all these things, the gathering of intelligence from the 1600s, 1700s, 1800s. Go back to the medical books. You will see since at least I think it's 1700s or whatever, they have been cutting open the body for a long time. And this is the society you have grown up in, is making people where they can't process killing an animal for food, but they go home and watch people being cut up on their horror movies. Okay, so it's been a little bit of a flip. That's part of the flip-flop society, to where you can eat a chicken, but you can't kill the chicken you eat. Okay, you can't even smash a cockroach in the fucking floor or whatever. So there is different levels of flip-flop in reality, and where you've been in upside down world, and where you've been given this, that, and the other as a test. And so this is where we're taking all this, as far as the Adam and the Eve, and the going to the serpent, and then becoming as God, and then going and forming a new world. All right, and then he becomes as God and becomes as the Lord, and those things. So this is where God, the Lord God creates the sin, the moon god that reflects his light, that goes against him, taking something, taking maybe nothing, and then goes into a whole new world, sets up a new lineage. Okay, then we see this whole thing play out again and again and again, and each prophecy of the Jesus coming. That is the Jesus. Okay, and it's coming, the truth coming upon these people, and no one is right. Okay, and that's where you're in the Babylon, where no one is right. The Hermes, the Jeremys, the Jeremiah, and that Mayan prophecy. Okay, so we're all here, folks. The Hermes connects the world from the gods to the earth, and that's where you're talking about your aliens and your Nephilim and your Anunnakis and your Nerubus and all that. That's where this thing is going to make you the son of God and connect you to this, that, and the other as the Hermes, the hermaphrodites. And that's when your T-puses and your figs shrivel up. Okay, you're already cutting your nuts. Okay, so this is where they're going to cut your nuts for you in a way. And then or basically the circumcision, the whack job, the hack job on the Peter, that's male genital mutilation and the Christian religion aspect, or the Jewish aspect, whatever you want to call it, but that's where everything is kind of going to match up. Okay? So that's where you're going into that little ball that I was showing on the little graph there. But the hack, they're going to make the nuts match. Okay? And then those who have chosen to cut their manhood and shooting blanks and shit, well, that's going to hit another marker. All right? And they basically have told you that they have turned on veganism in one way, shape, or form, where you get bit by this and become allergic to meat. So I assume that they are going to turn on cannibalism. All right? The things we're seeing in this projection, the TV, this magic scry and whatever, we can see in the future with this thing in different ways, shapes, and forms. We can also see in the past. And we can see that the cowboy is a full-blown Hollywood presentation. So as this world is being shown zombies on different levels, these kind of zombies that are stuck in the street or whatever, they're kind of passing through time and different levels, and they're at their lowest, but they're also at their highest. And those who are under that high income, who took this thing, that, and the other, are coming into a symbiotic relationship with that Venom, so to speak, and that Spider-Man for that Netanyahu and whatever else, the bad omen, that serpent seed. The serpent seed is also tied to your SSRIs and the SS Social Security in this upside down world where you've been taking from the future to build up now. So this is where all your retirements and all this shit, whatever kind of thing, will be taken from you to pay off this, and the wealth is redistributed, and everything goes back to being pennies again. Okay? Start up a new type of trade and barter system, a new mark in the right hand to worship after that man who buys and sells, and message and way, and whatever else is going to be setting up in this world. Okay? So this is where you're given the sons of God, the alien men, whatever else, the Hermes, the connectors of earth. So this is where your Hermes and all that stuff are coming in within you to connect you to the underworld of the person that controls you, so to speak. So this is where that underworld, that Petro system, the Petri dish, that kind of thing is coming in to control the clone drone society that may be living for 800, 900 years as hell breaks open on earth. As hell breaks open on earth, he's bringing his children with him, and his children are pre-selected and designed to do this, that, and the other, depending on the program, and that program depends on what you're loaded up with and all these kinds of things. So all this is working on a multiple level spectrum, on a positive level, on a negative level, on a rebuilding level, on a destruction level. That Galactus is all coming within you. That Silver Surfer is coming within you. The Silver Surfer tied to the moon, and the silver as far as the metals and that medicine and all those kind of things. The seamless steel. Either way. So Trump turning on Israel, and them creating the sons of God and the aliens being here, creating the God-men, the alien hybrids, all these things done through the frequencies, the sounds we've been projecting so-called into space and from space, and all those things are telling a story, all right? I'm going to get into some other videos connecting the wow signal to people born in Generation X and the 80s and stuff like that. But all this gifted and talented program, the psychics, the searching for the sons of God, and people who have these kinds of gifts or whatever, we're shown this on different levels through that motion picture Given Life and the star search and whatever else is going on. So this is where all these things are coming in, and all this stuff we're given or whatever is actually being used for the data collection, whatever else. It's being used for different ways, shapes, and forms. And this is where the boogeyman is coming after you, and he may be coming after you. Like if the Orwellian Empire or the Oralien Empire, that can tie into your Ice Age on one level, and then that ties into your alien, the person born in Congress when your stars fall and they start rejecting or ejecting the people from this part of your blockbuster stuff coming. For the wild times, but they start getting rid of your politicians that y'all voted in for. It's all y'all's fault who y'all voted for or whatever. So it's where it's all coming in and coming into that eye-to-eye situation. Well, I voted him in. I didn't do my research. Why did I vote for a Canadian? All this other stuff. And then all your Hollywood or Bollywood, whatever else kind of thing. This is also a test where you have Bruce Lee coming in on one level, doing the pitcher of water, but he's from China, and this is where the Jesus is going to, the China and the Asia and all that kind of thing, the missing years of Jesus, and then the miners and the Asian miners, and then anyway, it's all going in your world stage, your script, and whatever else as the battle of AI, and you're going into the wilderness of sin. Okay, there's a wilderness of sin in the Bible for you. Okay, so that's where all y'all are going. As you're taking your sin, and then this sin is going to help you reflect that light, and it's going to make you go into that Amen and that control system. Okay? So that's where we're at for the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years as Uranus and Pluto, and that's the plutonium, the 9449 and all that stuff is setting up to your 2045 to the 2045. You're in the 2045 spiritual right now as far as your passing through man with the dawn of time, and that takes you to your 2049, and then your 48 to the 2048 from the 1948, and these types of things. You're living on a 70, 80, 45 year sequence on the 45-90 kind of thing on the haircut cosmos or whatever, or the 0 degree, and then now you're going to go into the sub-zero for that mortal combat. Either way,